I can't get this app to cooperate today. It's just not, no matter what I do, it won't let me rotate it. So you guys might have to deal with this today and deal with a skinny whiteboard. This is gonna be back to basics, leaky gut and lectins, okay? We're gonna talk all about leaky gut and lectins because I think it's very, very, very important to touch on this. A lot of people suffer from this. So, what the heck is leaky gut? We need to really go back to the beginning and explain what leaky gut is. I'm gonna try to make this visual for you. So it's estimated that as high as 80% of all people have leaky gut syndrome. 80% of all people, that's a tremendously high number, and it's because of our good old friend, the food pyramid. So we're gonna get into the food pyramid and how the highest lectin-containing foods are contained within this food pyramid, the fantastic standard American diet, the SAD diet. Now, we've also talked a lot about inflammation in the past. We did a whole on depression. So depression is caused by inflammation. So we talked a lot about inflammation, and leaky gut is at the root of inflammation. Inflammation is at the root of all Western disease. Leaky gut is at the root of inflammation. So we're gonna cover how you get leaky gut. I'm going to talk about the steps you can take to reverse it, the steps you can take to prevent it, and we're going to talk about lectins. What the heck are lectins? This is a place where I am unique because most nutrition protocols do not cover this stuff. That's why there's a lot of foods that you guys think are healthy, and you get to Clovis, and I tell you that they're not healthy, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Everybody says these are healthy. It's why most other protocols don't work, okay? So we're gonna talk about lectins, exactly what they are. I'm gonna talk about the problems that they cause in your body. I'm gonna teach you about the built-in defenses that we have. The body's actually really smart, knows what lectins are. We have built-in defenses, but Americans overwhelm those defenses every single day, which is just foolish. Really stupid behavior to go back and keep doing these things. So I'm gonna teach you how to not be one of the dumb ones and how to make better decisions when it comes to lectins, okay? We're gonna talk about preparing foods, which I almost don't even wanna do, but I will because people are asking me how to combat lectins if you must eat lectins. You mustn't, or you don't need to, but if you must, we'll talk about what you can do preparation-wise if you're a big fat baby and you don't wanna get rid of your lectins, okay? We're gonna talk about how your body screams at you when you do eat lectins, the thing that it tells you that something is very wrong and how people ignore that, right? So we're gonna discuss other known causes of leaky gut, not just this food pyramid, not just the food choices that we make and lectins and inflammation and all these things. We're gonna talk about some of the other factors that play in to this leaky gut syndrome, okay? It's a big, big deal. And those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Justin Nault. I'm the founder of Clovis. I am a certified nutritional therapist. I'm a specialist in sports nutrition. I invented the line of nutritional products known as the perfect paleo powder because they're perfect. Now, I do health coaching, nutrition consulting, whatever you want to call it, try to change people's lives. By try, I mean change people's lives all day, every damn day, right? 50 pounds in 6 weeks, 40 pounds in 60 days, 11 pounds in 7 days, whatever it may be. We're really reversing chronic disease in people. That's really what I'm trying to do. Now, by the end of this episode, you're gonna have a deep, deep understanding of what leaky gut is. You're gonna have a deep understanding of lectins, what lectins are, how to avoid them, how to get them out of foods if you wanna try to take on lectin foods. We're gonna talk about how they cause the biological responses that they cause. You're gonna have a very deep understanding of this, so you'll know all about lectins, and at the next family cookout, you can shit in the punch bowl effectively and say, ha 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 ha, you're eating all those lectins. Just kidding, don't shit in the punch bowl, you dick, you guys know better. If you don't know me or don't know Clovis, sorry I started with the profanity right off the bat this week. Whatever, dude, I'm in my house, I'm feeling comfy, okay? Let's move on. Back to basic, lectins and leaky gut. Okay, what the heck is leaky gut? So, you have your intestines. Food goes in your mouth, down your esophagus, goes into your stomach. Now your stomach, your intestines, have a lining. That gut lining is made up of cells, okay? This is a wall lining in your stomach. So when people talk about leaky gut, they're talking about the intestinal wall. Now this is just one cell thick, literally microscopic. Your only line of defense between your intestines and your bloodstream, what gets into your body, is a wall that is one cell thick. Now, if you stretched it out, it'd be about the size of a tennis court, which is pretty crazy, right? But it's only one cell thick, right? Not a very formidable line of defense, although it is incredible when you take care of it. So let me try to give you a visual here. You have the walls of that lining in your stomach are made up of cells, okay? So let's say we have cell, 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 cell. It looks like a screen on your window, right? Like a screen just full of cells. Now the spaces, let's say, those are called tight junctions. So that would be like here, any place where cells are touching. Here, 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 and this goes on and on. If you had a cell up here, it'd be here, here. It's this webbing, right? Looks like a web, right? And you literally can just add to it, ad infinitum, right? So you just go like that, and that's what the lining of your gut looks like. So these little spaces here, these lines that I keep drawing, these are called tight junctions. Now, the job of tight junctions is to allow things to pass into the bloodstream. That's how digestion works. Things like your saliva and your stomach acid, they take these food molecules and break them down into their simple forms. Simple sugars, simple proteins, fatty acids, right? All these things, it breaks them down, vitamins, minerals. It lets them cross these tight junctions and go into your bloodstream. So when it's functioning properly, these are tight enough to absorb things like vitamins, minerals, fats, proteins, all those things, and keep the bad guys out of the bloodstream, right? So the bad guys in this case are large proteins. So let's say we have a protein, right? Let's say we have fatty acids. I kind of draw them like that. And then we have the bad guys, which are large proteins. But you'll notice the large proteins look a lot like the little proteins. That's a lot of this story. That's what we're going to talk about. So the tight junctions are supposed to let the good stuff in, keep the bad stuff out. Now, lectins are relatively large proteins. So let's call these lectins. Lectins are trying to spread the tight junctions in your gut and get into your bloodstream. They will do very bad things, but we're not talking about lectins yet, so I'm gonna stick on leaky gut just for a second. Why is leaky gut important? Because some of you may be familiar with or even suffering from something called autoimmune disease or autoimmune diseases, okay? And honestly, I really don't think people even understand this term. I don't think that people have any idea that it's preventable. You'll see a lot of people on Instagram that say that autoimmune is not preventable. They kind of have fallen into the victim thing because that's where the medical community has firmly put them, because the medical community is making billions of dollars treating the symptoms and never treating the root cause of autoimmune disease. Now, let's give you an example of some of these. We're talking skin issues, right? Eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, joint issues, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. Lupus is the most searched on Google, the most searched autoimmune term in the world, so tons of people dealing with that. There's something called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and people just call that Hashimoto's for short. Affects your thyroid, blah, blah, blah. You have celiac disease, which is a really well-known autoimmune condition, okay? Now, I want you to remember one point. Let's say I use the word autoimmune, okay? This is ridiculously important. If you take nothing away from this entire episode except for this is the most important point. You cannot have autoimmune disease without leaky gut. I want you to repeat that. I want you to remember that. You cannot have autoimmune disease without leaky gut. So if you are dealing with any health issues that are autoimmune, I literally just gave you the key to the city. I gave you your starting point at least. I'm not promising we can reverse everything and anything. I'm saying you now have a starting point. Start with the gut. Start healing the gut. Now, if you don't have an autoimmune issue, that doesn't mean you don't have leaky gut. It just means that you might be dealing with other symptoms, and I know you are because I get emails about this every day, especially from women. Bloating, constipation, indigestion, acid reflux, heartburn, skin issues of any kind, acne breakouts are usually the result of some kind of weakness in the permeability of the gut, even headaches, brain fog, migraines, and like we talked about last week, depression, right? Mental illness. So there are a lot of things. All disease begins in the gut. All disease begins in the gut, and you cannot have autoimmune issues without leaky gut. You simply cannot have it. And I need you guys to understand that. So everything we just talked about, from headaches to psoriasis to rosacea to lupus, whatever, what are these all symptoms of? They're symptoms of inflammation. okay? So inflammation is at the root of all Western disease, just like we discussed last week with depression, right? So the gut becomes leaky, so these tight junctions fail, right? And now, not only do the little guys get in, but the big guys get in, right? So the big proteins get into your bloodstream, and they cause something called an autoimmune response. And this raises systemic inflammation, okay? So leaky gut equals inflammation. Inflammation equals disease. It's that simple. It's truly that simple. Really. So when people tell you, I just want to live my life, I don't want to give up the foods, his diet's too strict, I'm literally telling you the root of all disease. So do you want to eat the Wendy's Frosty, or do you want to be healthy? Because you have to choose between the two. There comes personal responsibility, and you have to choose between the two. So that's a bit about leaky gut, inflammation, and disease. So that is the leaky gut story, which brings us into the lectin story.